This practice is for my friend Rosemary. She asked for a sequence wherein we focus on strengthening. Come to stand at your mat. And as you come to standing at your mat, see how you can engage. And as you engage the muscular energy by spreading your fingers and spreading your toes, allow your toes to press down, but yet get this feeling of drawing in from the toes to the pelvis, keeping that strength. Hug the midline. Draw in to the midline of your stance in Tadasana. Come to the top of your mat and reset with your feet hip distance apart. See if you can go through those three steps. This idea of hugging the muscle to the bone, drawing into the midline, drawing from the toes or the fingers all the way to the focal point of this pose, which is the pelvis. From here, keep that tone as you lift your arms up. Exhale, take your hands down and bend your knees. Place your hands right alongside your ankles to take your right leg back and bring your right knee to the earth. Inhale, reach your arms up just to get this nice expansion. Now, with your knee as part of your foundation, press the toenails of your right foot so that you can get a nice engaged action there. Place your hands right in front of your heart in a prayer position. Draw your right elbow toward your left knee and inhale, sweep your arms up again. We'll do a little rotational strengthening here. Place your hands right in front of your heart. Press your hands into the midline to get strength in the arms. Tap down. Inhale, take your arms up. Come to Anjali Mudra again, prayer position. Do a little twist by taking the right elbow toward the left knee. And inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, take your hands down. Step back to downward facing dog or puppy dog pose where you can just stay on your knees if you wish. So whatever pose that you come to, just enjoy a nice strengthening action here. So as you press the fingertip tops, you draw in. Now the focal point is somewhat different here. It's the base of the heart. So draw in from the fingers all the way to the heart, from the feet all the way through the pelvis to the heart. Tone the muscles of the arms. Hug the midline with the hands and with the feet. Now walk your feet up to your hands. With your knees bent, place your hands right above your knees. Keep your knees bent and place your hands in this prayer position. In this prayer position, drop down just slightly lower. And do that same thing. Twist to take the elbow just to the outer left knee. And come back to the center position. And again, take the elbow, right elbow to the outer left knee. And come back. And one more time, reach down and come to the full pose as you come out of the pose to stretch your hands and root down to rise up. Exhale, release yourself into a forward fold to place your hands by your ankles and step your left leg back. Take your left knee down and in this low lunge, inhale, lift your arms up. So again, this full engagement, you draw in from the spread fingers all the way to the heart and to the pelvis. Place your hands to the midline. Press your hands in prayer position very firmly to tone all the way up to the armpit and take the left elbow to the outer right knee and inhale, rise up. Keep your legs very active. You're really working the legs nicely to stabilize yourself. You've set a good foundation, and now it's time to work the muscular strength as you tap the left elbow to the outer right knee and come back. Stretch your arms up, open up nicely. Exhale, release your hands, step your back foot forward. Place both hands to the low back and rise up. Inhale, take your arms up and reach them back. Exhale, come down to the earth with your knees bent. Place your right leg back. Place your left leg back. Come to downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, come toward a plank position and step your hands a giant step forward. So this plank position is a very sort of odd plank position because your hands are forward, but it just creates just a little bit more strength and qualities in the area of the core. Now walk your hands back, that one hand print that you took them forward to come to downward facing dog. Come down to your knees, and on your knees, take your right knee up toward your right armpit. Reach your right leg straight back. Have the toes tucked under. Press your feet down, your right foot down to stretch the back side of the leg. Now bend your right knee and draw the right knee up toward the left elbow. Exhale, reach your right leg straight back, press to the earth, reach back, and place your right knee down. We'll do this cycle for a few times. And if you'd like to just draw back and create this kind of puppy dog pose, it's not full child's pose, but you're just keeping this nice awareness to the back side of the body as you reach back. Now inhale, lift yourself up and take your left knee toward your left armpit. Reach your left foot straight back with the toes tucked under. Now we're going to cross over. Take your left knee toward your right elbow. So it's across the midline here. Now reach it back. And come back to either this puppy dog pose or downward facing dog, your choice. Now we'll be doing that same pose from downward facing dog, that same sequence, or you can stay on your knees, and your choice here. But in order to get this full engagement of the hands and the legs and this engagement of the core, draw your right knee up toward your right armpit. So you have to come toward a plank pose for those of us in downward dog. Reach your right leg straight back. If you're in puppy dog pose, you can take your right foot to the floor. In downward dog, the right foot is lifted. Now draw your right knee in and cross it over as if you're trying to tap your left elbow. Reach the right leg straight back and release your right foot down. Come, everyone, let's meet in this puppy dog pose where your toes are tucked under. You're just drawing back and receiving a nice fullness in the breath. So even in this pose that appears like a very static resting pose, we're still gaining this muscular strength. You're drawing in from the fingers, through the armpits, through the heart, all the way back to the pelvic area. You're getting this nice tone, nice lift. Now come back through to either this tabletop position to do the actions or downward facing dog. You can take your left knee toward your left armpit. Reach your left leg straight back out. Or again, you can be on hands and knees doing this. Draw your left knee toward the right elbow and armpit. Reach it straight back and release the foot down. Come to all fours position again to lower yourself down so that the forearms are pressing. With your forearms pressing, reach your right leg back and tuck your right toes under. Reach your left foot back and press your left foot down. Now draw your heart forward in the pose. Keep the elbows hugging the midline, that strong muscular energy. And take the knees down. Draw back to this puppy dog pose here. Rather than child's pose here, we're going to keep it a little bit more active here. So your pelvis is drawing back. You're keeping a nice lift of the shoulders, a nice softening of the heart. Now, with your toes tucked under, lift yourself up to walk, step, or hop your way all the way to the front of the mat. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Just pause in Tadasana. And in Tadasana, again, rather than just letting your weight just drop from the pelvis to the floor, see if you can get this engaging quality where you're actually energetically lifting up from the toes all the way to the pelvis. You feel this engagement. It helps to lengthen and create freedom from the pelvis to the crown of the head. From here, inhale and take your arms up, reach them up and slightly back. Exhale, come down to the earth and just pause here. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Plant your hands right above your knees. And once you come to this utkatasana, this chair pose, place your hands right in front of the heart. So with your hands right in front of the heart, draw your left foot just to the side and tap. So your right knee is still bent. You're just tapping the foot and come back to center. Do that 2 more times. Draw it out. Toe tips can be down or up off the floor if you wish, and back to center. And one more time. Reach out and back to center. Now keep the knees bent, keep the inner thighs drawing back, and draw the right foot out and come back. Draw the right foot out and come back, and draw the right foot out and come back. Inhale, reach your arms up. Keep this nice engagement to the legs. And as you do, draw your left hand to the outer right knee and just open the chest nicely. Come back to the center position and twist again. Take your hand down, twist to the opposite side. Come back to the center position, root down to lift yourself up and release your hands. Step to the top of the mat if you're not there already. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, come to the forward fold where the knees are bent and the hands are alongside your ankles. Step your right leg back. Step your left leg back. Come to a plank position, and once again, step your hand a giant step forward. Both hands, giant step forward. Just hold your plank there. See about lifting your right foot up off the mat. Release your right foot down. See about taking your left foot up off the mat. Release your foot down. Step your hands back to where they were, hands nice and wide apart. Draw yourself down by taking your knees down first, with your hands really engaging. So you're hugging into the midline with your hands. Draw your heart forward and lower yourself down, just like you're doing a push-up. And inhale, keep your knees down and lift yourself up. Do that one more time. Pull your hands in toward the midline of the mat. Engage, engage. Bring this engagement into the core by drawing from the pubic bone toward the navel. And draw down. Stay down this time and press your hands back. Reach your hands back toward your feet. Lift your feet up. Lift your hands up like you're flying. Draw your inner big toes in toward each other. Reach your hands back and exhale, soften down. Let's do that a few more times. You can start with your palms pressing down. Take the heads of the arm bones back. Lift your feet up. Lift your hands up. Reach back. Keep that and reach your right arm forward. Reach back. Reach your left arm forward and reach back. Take your hands down and slowly come back to this puppy dog pose that we're practicing quite a bit today here. Tuck your toes under, reach your pelvis back. Keep a nice lift with the armpits. A nice engagement of the back body. Even in this pose, which appears so static, how can you get this principle of muscular energy to work more in your pose? Can you pull the hands in toward the midline to get nice tone in the arms? Can you pull from the fingertips all the way toward the pelvis to get more strength in the upper arms and the back body? Can you engage the legs so you're pulling into the midline? All these aspects of muscular energy we work. Come up through all fours position. And yogi's choice again, either through puppy dog or through downward facing dog, we'll do the same action that we did before, where the right knee draws in toward the right elbow. Reach your right leg straight back out. The right knee draws in toward the left elbow. You reach straight back out. Release your right foot down. On the left side, the left knee draws toward the left elbow. You reach the left foot back. The left knee draws toward the right elbow. You reach the left foot back. Release your foot down. Once again, through plank position, where you step your hand a giant step forward. From plank position, lift your right leg up. Release your right foot down. Take your left foot up. Release your foot down. Step your hand back. Come down to your knees. Draw your heart forward slowly, like you're doing a push-up. You're really using your arms here to take your heart down. On the in-breath, reach your heart forward. On the exhale breath, just pause in, again, this puppy dog pose. Toes tucked under, heels hugging in, arms really strong. You're reaching back. Your toes are very engaged here. Take 2 more cycles of the breath. And inhale, lift up. From this all fours position, step your right foot just halfway toward your right hand. Now turn your right toes so that you pivot the right foot out. Step your left hand a giant step forward. That part is quite important because we want our hand to be forward of our shoulder here. And as you're ready, press into the right foot to lift your back knee up. Press down through the outside of the left foot. Lift your right arm up. So you open up really nicely. So in this pose, as you open up nicely, you get this nice fullness here. Reach over so you get even more fullness. Now reach back, and as you do, take your pelvis toward the earth. Reach back. Inhale, lift your pelvis up and reach over. Exhale, take your pelvis down and reach toward your foot. Inhale, lift up and reach over. And exhale, draw down. This time you can let the pelvis land on the earth. Come back to all fours position again in tabletop position. Let's do that again on the opposite side. So take your left foot halfway up to your left hand. Reach your right hand a giant step forward. And with that, turn your left toes out, straighten your back leg, and lift yourself up. So come to this side plank pose that's supported, and it provides just a nice support with the front leg as you reach up and over. So you just get this nice fullness to the breath. And same thing, come down toward the earth as you reach toward your foot with your hand. Press through the outside, baby toe side of the foot to inhale. Lift yourself up and over. Exhale, draw your hand back toward your foot. Inhale, reach up and over. Exhale, draw your pelvis down, reach back, and come to all fours position where once again, you just come to that version of puppy dog that we've been working on here. Your hands are really wide apart. You're drawing your pelvis back toward your heels. You're just enjoying this nice fullness to the breath. Many people feel that yoga is all about stretching, but there's this component, this muscular engagement that people forget about. This idea of drawing in first, this muscular energy, drawing in toward the core. So come now to all fours position, and in the same way, with the hands clawing the mat, with hands nice and wide apart, come forward and lower yourself all the way to the mat. So now that your belly's on the mat, once again, reach your hands straight back with your palms facing toward the earth. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your feet. Draw your right arm forward and back. Draw your left arm forward and back. Draw both arms forward and back. Release your hands down. Come to your forearms. And in your forearms, with your forearms pressing, tuck your toes under. Lift your belly up. Lift your pelvis up. Lift your knees up to come to this plank position. Draw forward. Stay just to engage the breath nicely. Lift your right foot up off the mat. Release your right foot down. Lift your left foot up off the mat and take it down. Lower your knees down. Lower the tops of the thighs down. Lower your belly down. And now roll over to your back. And as you lie in your back, just pause here for a moment with your knees bent, with your feet hip distance apart. Just pause. But in this pause, since today we're working on this muscular engagement, see, even here as you pause with your feet pressing down, can you draw your feet in toward your pelvis? Like you're really engaging. Can you feel the muscle tone as you do that? Right? Can you keep that nice engagement? And as you do, reach your arms over your head. This gives you both a length in the side body, and it also kind of changes the center of gravity. So rather than the pelvis being the focal point, now the base of the heart becomes the focal point. As you press your feet down and pull them in, see about lifting your pelvis up. And as you maintain nice strength in the legs, just to check into that strength by lifting your right foot up off the mat, draw the right knee in and reach your right leg up. And slowly just take your pelvis down toward the mat. And inhale, lift your pelvis high. Exhale, draw the pelvis toward the mat. Inhale, lift your right leg high. One more time. Exhale, draw your pelvis down toward the mat. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, release your right foot down. Keep your arms up over your head. With both feet down, pull in from the feet toward the heart. From here, press down through the right foot. Draw your left knee in toward your heart. Reach your left foot up to the sky. Slowly soften down. Inhale, lift higher. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, soften. One more. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, release your foot down. Draw from your heels toward your heart. And slowly lower yourself to the mat. Very nice. And as you're ready, you can just pause here with your feet planted nicely. Just draw the heads of the arm bones back. Come to supta as you start to straighten your legs. And rather than shavasana here, we're just allowing ourselves to first align ourselves nicely. Now the pelvis is once again the focal point. You're drawing in from the feet to the pelvis. You're drawing from the fingertips to the heart, all the way to the pelvis. Now place your hands right behind your head with the fingers interlaced. Take your feet together so you're hugging the midline here. And inhale, lift your head up and look toward your feet. Now lift your feet up. Keep on looking toward the feet. And slowly lower your head and your feet down. And Inhale, lift your head up, lift your feet up, and slowly take your feet down and your head down. Inhale, lift your head up, lift your feet up, lift your right leg straight up toward the sky, and release your right foot down. Release both feet down. Release your head down. Inhale, lift your head up, look toward your feet, lift your feet up, lift your left foot high. Exhale, take it down. Take both feet down. Take your head down. And one more time, lift your head up, look toward your feet, see if both feet can lift up, and release down. Release your hands down to the side and just pause here for a moment. So even if it was a little hard to get the feet and the head up at the same time, you get this engagement, the strong muscular engagement in the action. Bend your knees, place your feet very firmly down. When you do these supine poses, it just has a wonderful way of just ensuring that you've got nice alignment. You've set a nice foundation here, and you can start working on strengthening the core with a nice foundation. So take the arms out in a T position. Lift your feet up off the floor, hug the midline, draw the knees in toward each other. Now take your shins approximately parallel to the floor. And as you do, draw your knees further away from your chest. Your feet are still very active. Your toes are active. You're drawing in from the toe tips to the pelvis. From here, point your right toes and just tap down. Take your right toes toward the earth, tap the earth. Keep the knees hugging the midline, that strong muscular action. Lift your right foot up. Point your left toes as you dorsiflex the right. Draw the left toes down, tap the earth, and inhale, lift your foot up. And same thing, point the right toes, tap the right foot to the earth. Inhale, lift your right foot up. Point your left toes, tap the earth as you're hugging the knees in, and lift your foot up. So keep that strong engagement, and draw over to the left side. Keep the strong engagement, the legs hugging in. You're not landing your knees on the earth. Actually, you're just going halfway. And if you're really working it, the bottom leg is really pulling in toward the midline, toward the top leg. Inhale, lift your knees up. Come to the opposite side just a little bit, just so that the weight is over on the right cheek. You're just bringing this energy to the right cheek. You're hugging the midline with the legs. The bottom leg is really drawing in to meet the inner left knee. Come back to the center position. Now lift both legs up. Now for both of us, for most of us, I should say, when both legs are lifted, the low back just kind of slams right into the mat. So bend your knees so that that doesn't happen, so that you get just a little space there between the mat and the back. Those of you that can straighten and still maintain that curve, by all means, do that. So with a slight bend for most of us, again, keep your left leg lifted, take your right leg down toward the earth. And now reach over, take the left foot over to the right side, with the right leg just drifting toward the earth, but not on the earth. Inhale, take your leg up, lift your right leg up. Again, get the curve first before allowing the left foot to float toward the earth, but not on the earth. If that's a little bit too difficult for you, you can take it to the earth, of course. Always draw the right foot over to the left side, toward the left side. Inhale, lift your foot up, lift the opposite leg up. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your feet. Take your elbows alongside your ribs. And now, in the more traditional form of Setubandha Sarvangasana, press your elbows down. This muscular action that we've been working on throughout the poses. See, with the fingers spread, and you're drawing in from your fingertips all the way to the heart. And now the pelvis, with it, when the pelvis is on the earth, it is the focal point to the pose. But as you lift your pelvis away from the earth, now the heart, the base of the heart there becomes the focal point. As you press your elbows in, you draw energetically to the heart with the arms. As you press your heels down, your heels draw in toward the heart. All the muscular action draws in toward the heart to give you greater strength, to give you greater fullness. Keep that fullness. And with that fullness of the heart, just soften down. Bring your pelvis to the earth. Let your arms just release. And this is one pose where muscular action that we've been working on is really not called for. This is that point where you completely open to grace in an aligned form. As you set a nice foundation for yourself in Shavasana, with your pelvis, the focal point of this pose, with your pelvis fully rooted to the earth. Before you settle into full Shavasana, check in with your alignment. Have your arms equidistance, your legs equidistance from that midline that we've been pulling into all class. Now you can allow yourself to kind of drift from the midline. With the support of the earth, you maintain this refined alignment. Stay in this position. Or if you need to move on to the activities of your day, please do so. Thank you for joining the practice. Namaste.